This NFL play hits 87% of the time and is a hidden secret that not even the sports books know about. And I'm going to teach you how to find it in this video. Now make sure you guys stick to the end of the video so you know exactly what websites to use to be able to find the information that I teach you. Not too many people know about this strategy that I'm going to teach you. And it's because it involves a certain player in the game that not too many people pay attention to. And it is the kicker. So what you're looking at here is going to be the alternate kicker points. So now what do they score points on? They score points on what? Field goals and extra points. So that's what we're going to be paying attention to and figuring out exactly how to hack that to be able to hit 87% of the bets that we put in on the kicker points. So now the first thing that we're going to be looking for is going to be the opposing team's field goal / kicker points allowed. Okay, so this right here is the stat that shows exactly how many points per field goal and extra points for the kicker that is given up by the opposing team. Now we want to make a list of the bottom 5 in that category. Okay, so you're going to have 5 teams written down. You're going to make that list of the 5 teams that give up the most points allowed to kickers. Your next step is going to be your opponent's field goal points per attempt. So now what is this stat? This stat right here means pretty much it's like efficiency, okay? How efficient the team is, the opposing team, at letting field goals actually go through rather than blocking the field goal or anything like that. Now in this sector right here, we're going to be looking for the bottom 10. Okay, we can get a little bit more lenient with this category here. So basically through these first 2 steps, what you're looking for is you're looking for a team that allows a decent amount of points to the kicker and the conversion rate is pretty good that they allow, so they don't really block kicks. Now let's get to number 3. Number 3 is going to be on the offensive end here. Okay, so the offensive end, what we're looking for, is going to be field goals attempted per game. All right, this is a bit of a broad one for the offense / special teams. Now in this category, we're looking for the top 10. All right, so we want a team that is going to be attempting a decent amount of field goals. So what this means is usually in the top 10, the teams that you're going to find here, you're going to find teams here that tend to not finish drives off literally in the red zone. Okay? They tend to get stuck between that 35-yard line to like that 25-yard line, and they're forced to kick a field goal. So that's what you're going to find here in the top 10 for field goals attempted per game. But we want the top in this category because now conversion rate wise here, we're looking at the top 10 team to really kick field goals. You know, they really they have a tendency to kick field goals a lot, going against a team now that allows a decent amount of points to that kicker and doesn't block kicks. Now let's go ahead and get to number 4. Number 4 is going to be similar to pretty much number 2. Okay, number 4 is going to be the field goal conversion percentage. All right, field goal conversion percentage. So this really right here means how efficient is the team at being able to, and not the team, pretty much just the field goal kicker. How efficient is he to be able to actually score on an extra point or a field goal? So in this category, we're going to look for the top 10 as well. All right. So when you go through these 4 steps here, what it should narrow it down to, a team that on the defensive end for special teams gives up conversion, extra points, and field goals at a high rate. All right, they don't block kicks, they don't do nothing like that, and they allow a decent amount of field goals to be had. Offensively for the special teams, you got a team that struggles to get it into the end zone. Okay, they don't score touchdowns a lot on their drives. They consider to kick field goals more than to drive it into the end zone. They tend to get stuck between, like I said, the 35 and the 20 in that range, and they'll kick a field goal offensively. And then on top of that, the kicker's conversion rate is pretty high if we're looking at the top 10, meaning that he's not going to, swing one to the right or to the left, and most likely he's going to be able to convert on the field goal that he's going to be attempting. Now I'm going to give you guys an example as well for week 6 to show you guys exactly how this ended up coming through and working for one of the kickers. But before I get to that, if you guys want to fast forward through all this and all these strategies that I teach you, and you literally just want the answers sent to you every single week, all you got to do is click the link in the description and join the team. Once you do that, you'll be able to actually learn all the processes, and you'll actually be able to see exactly what those picks are that you should be coming up with each and every week. Now let's go ahead and get to the 5th step. So once we've got our kicker narrowed down, okay, he's went through our first 4 steps, we're able to pretty much concisely find, you should be able to find on any given Sunday, maybe 1 to 2 kickers. You're not going to find a crazy amount that are going to fit this criteria, but you might find 1 or 2. Okay, once we find those kickers, now what we're going to do is we are going to look at the alternate over kicker points. Now most likely they're going to land in the range of, I'd say, anywhere from 4.5 to 6.5, okay? Somewhere in that range is where the alternate points is going to land. Now what you have to do is you have to compare the implied probability versus the true probability of that kicker being able to convert and to get up over these numbers. Now that overall number for the alternate kicker points is going to be different for each kicker. Okay, so like I said, average probably you could find between 4.5 and 6.5, but some you might be able to find a little lower, some maybe higher. But you have to compare the implied probability versus the true probability to make this work, because once you have able to figure out exactly the kicker that you want, it still has to make sense and it still has to give you an edge, because if it doesn't give you an edge, then it doesn't make sense to play it. So I'm going to use an example through week 6 to show you guys exactly how that worked. Now in week 6, we're going to look at the Chargers kicker. Chargers kicker was Dicker. He was going against the Dolphins. Now the Dolphins qualified exactly what I just showed you in the first 4 steps of the prior slide. They qualified, so Dicker would literally be able to be on your list and he would be a kicker that you're looking at for his points. Now his line was set for kicker points at 3.5. Now the odds for that were minus 310. Now that gave him a 75% implied probability. Now if we go back and look on this season, how many times did Dicker surpass 3.5 points? You're able to see that he did it in every single game. Okay, so his true probability is actually 100% because he has yet to have a game where he did not go over 3.5 total points by a kicker. Now that gave us a plus 25% edge. Now yes, some people might be scared of this number right here. Okay, you might be scared of that, but you don't need to be scared of that when, like I said, the implied probability and the true probability gives you such a big edge. There's no reason to be scared of it. Okay, because if you're doing this consistently, over and over, okay, and you're finding your different edges and you're playing different numbers, you're not always playing a minus 300, all right? You're going to find other plays, some that could be minus 130, minus 120, some that could be plus money. You never know, okay? It just has to have an edge to make sense. Now, in this instance here, we have a 25% edge on a minus 310 for Dicker to go over 3.5 points. Do you know how many points he ended up actually having? He ended up having 17 points. He kicked 5 field goals. All right, so this was blown out of the water. You didn't even have to worry about literally any sweat in this game whatsoever. And the 100% true probability there, which is crazy when you see that sometimes, stayed true. And he was able to surpass that number with ease and literally crushed it and had 17 points. So consistently following this for kicker points, you're able to literally hit 87% of the time. But you have to make sure that it fits all the criteria that I just taught you. Now let's get into the websites where you're going to be able to find that exact information. So the website you're going to be able to find all this information is Team Rankings. Okay? Team Rankings, it's a free website. You're not going to pay for it or anything like that. But it gives you a tremendous amount of stats. And where you're going to go is you're going to look for special teams, offense, and defense. That's where you're going to find the stats that I showed you for those first 4 steps, is under the special teams, offense, and defense category. Now, once you're able to get here, how long will it take you to find this? Okay, because I get this question sometimes, is how long is it going to take me to find this play? This particular play right here should literally only take you about 10 to 15 minutes max to be able to find the couple kickers on any given Sunday that you're going to have an advantage to be able to bet their alternate kicker points.